Hey there, you beautiful Hollywood Hills fans, and welcome to another week and another episode. So, last week I told you guys we were going to have a brand new insert. There's a big gap in the racing calendar for the Gxccs and the Farm Jams. That's all going to be kicking off again in around about 3 weeks' time. But for now, we go down and kick off the first rider on our Tech Talk. First rider out at the motocross track, plying his trade and getting things dialed in for the rest of the year. First gate pick, Tyron Beverly. Okay, Ty, tell us who you are and who you're riding for, and tell us a bit about your bike.
Yeah, so I'm Tyron Beverly. I'm racing in the R3 Pro class. I'm riding for the Liesure Honda Wing South Africa team. And yeah, this year we aboard the 250 RX, the 2024 model. It's not really too changed to the 23 last year, but we have made a lot of gains in terms of bike setup and a lot of little things. These Hondas, they're great for motocross, for off-roads. Especially coming from motocross, I like the crossover aspect of it.
Yeah, obviously we're hanging out at the motocross track. This is actually where you do most of your training, right?
Yeah, it's basically, for me, motocross is the best way to train for off-roads. Everything's very fast and intense, so you got to be perfect everywhere on a motocross track. And I think it translates well to the off-roads. Definitely do need to get out into the fields and do some off-road training, get that mental aspect of the speed of off-road. Obviously here we don't really get out of third, fourth gear much. It's a lot slower than the 130, 40 k's an hour we're going to be doing out in the mini fields.
You've been on the bikes a couple of years now, picked up by Harry a couple of seasons back, and obviously you'll have tweaked the Hondas to how you like them to run. So take us through a couple of the little Tyron things that you've done to this thing.
Yeah, well, from stock, actually not too much changes. I don't do a ton of changes, but there are a few things that I'm very specific about. One of the big things for me is torquing the bolts, all the suspension bolts. I very much to the point on torque, so I can feel the difference in the chassis. These Hondas with the aluminium frame, it's got a stiffer feel versus the Austrian brands. So little things like the triple clamp bolts, getting them to the right torque spec helps the bike flex a bit more. And then we also run slightly more sag on the rear for the Hondas, especially for the off-roads. I feel like the Hondas sit very high. A little bit more sag gives them a little bit more squat. I like it, the bike's planted. I do run personally a stiffer setup than probably most off-road guys do. I think that's courtesy of coming off the motocross. I like the bike to hold up with the high speed. In terms of engine and stuff, we don't do too much. The Honda engine's great, straight out the package. We do have a Yashimoto pump on at the moment, which gives us a little bit more. For me, it's not too much an actual speed gain. It does allow me to run a higher gear in a lot of places. Higher gear, the motor's a lot smoother. I like it. I don't rev the bike too much. Even though these bikes do like to rev the 250s, I like to ride it like 450 almost in a lot of places.
I see you're a bit of a Carmichael. You roll the bars quite far back.
Yeah, low bars. I tell you, it's just the height. I'm very short. So yeah, we run the bars back. A little bit, not too much, but we do try to run lower bars. I think these are the standard Honda band. I'll just move them down a little bit. Otherwise, Renthal 999s are my go-to if I do swap to aftermarket bars.
Checking out your radiator, obviously protection.
Yeah, so I do crash a bit, and also with the variability of the off-roads, there's trees, there's anything out there. So radiator braces are complete must. We even have these little guards in front, stop mud packing up, stop droppers going through the radiators. It's a terrible way to lose a championship if you put something through a radiator. We even run disc guards front and rear, the rock. So even though we're not hitting heavy rocks out there in the off-roads, it can be anything from tree stumps. We rather have a bit of extra weight to have the bike protected.
What about any protection around the shifters? Because we find in some of the blocky zones, like I say, you're not hitting many blocky zones, but when you do, they can be quite wild, and they bust the real important stuff.
Yeah, so we do have brake snakes. They're not currently on for practice. When we're racing, we run brake snakes on the rear brake. The shifter I don't normally touch. This bash plate we're running now is quite far out, so that helps. But I haven't had issues yet, touch wood. But on the rear brake, we do run those brake snakes to stop it bending out. Obviously, losing rear brakes in a race can be quite costly. So we try and prevent as many of those little issues as we can. Other than that, protection-wise, we run the hand guards. I'm running the stock Honda ones at the moment. And they do a pretty great job. I struggle with wraparounds personally. I know a lot of guys like them. I just struggle with the feel, and it's not my thing. So I sacrifice a bit there and just run the standard little flappy hand guards.
Yeah.
And then tyres, obviously the team runs Dunlop. You've swapped tyres throughout your career, but it seems like Dunlop have got some good packages this season.
Yeah, I think as far as tyres go, Dunlop's always been my favourite. They just have a tyre for everything. So at the moment we've got 8081s on, great full of hard pack. But last weekend we were out in Kawa sand dunes running the new MX14s, absolutely amazing in the sand. And probably MX33s now going into the Freiburg National coming up. Dunlop just has a range that kind of suits everything. You don't really compromise with Dunlop, there's always a tyre.
Yeah. And just a quick wrap up of the season so far. We're heading towards the halfway mark of the regionals at the Gxcc, coming into round 4. It's been a tough one so far at this time.
Yeah, I feel like my riding's been great this year. I've been riding probably the best I ever have. It's just the results haven't quite reflected that. Some stupid crashes on my side, bad starts at the Gxccs. Also sometimes taking too long to get up to speed, running my best laps, lap 4 and 5, but then the gap's too big. I think Gxcc, we're third in points now, 2 points down, so it's still very much alive the championship. The nationals, unfortunately, I haven't had such good luck. We're a bit further back, but I definitely, going into the sand rounds coming up, I should hopefully be on for some wins going forward.
Cool to have fast teammates, but also a bit challenging as well because you got a lot of real fast teammates.
Yeah, I think when we announced the team for this year, I thought we got probably like we can run 1, 2, 3 points easy with the team we have. I think Eric led most of the championship last year. Blake obviously off the 125s, he's super fast. And he's going to be quick now, going also into the sand motocross background. Blake is super fast. Eric, I think he's had a slow start, but every round now he's getting stronger, and he's probably one of the fittest guys on the gate. So Eric fights tooth and nail to the end.
All right, Ty, we'll let you get back to your practice, and yeah, as always, we'll see you on the line.
So Ty gets the illustrious honor of opening up our Tech Talk shows. We're going to go out next week and talk to another rider. Haven't decided who it's going to be, whether it's going to be from the gates on the Gxccs or the Farm Jams, but watch this space. Stay training, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the line very soon.